speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron? Huh?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
To the Hobbit day, because as I say, like I enjoyed the book, but when I went and I searched Hobbit on Netflix, it came up with 3 films. I thought, fucking no way they've spread it over 3 films. So there's no, like, my excitement just fucking drained for me straight away.
Well, that's a complaint that I've got about it. You could probably read the book in the same time it would take to watch all the movies.
Honest to God, man, just pure money, greedy bastards.
The first one's just under 3 years as well, isn't it?
2 hours 40 or something like that.
Yeah, it feels like 15 minutes watching it.
Can I look forward to it? And then just, when I seen that, I just let out a sigh. I was like, oh.
Well, let's save our thoughts and feelings on The Hobbit until next week. But guys, welcome in to Morons Reviewing Movies. Whilst we are reviewing, what was the category for this one again?
Based on stories that may have been real life events that might be true or something.
Fact or fiction? We're not sure. We're not sure, especially when it comes to Hunter's descriptions of how to say true stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
With my history of fables as well.
History of Fable as well. This was a bit easier to watch these 2 movies than the previous week's episode of TV scheduled movies that I think we all agreed that may stay off the wheel for the near future, because it's an absolute nightmare trying to watch a movie on the telly when we're that used to the on-demand stuff.
Actually, I like the idea of that because it opens it up a bit more. Like stuff that like you wouldn't even think of or notice, well, because it's not on Netflix or anything, but just kind of, it's the first time we've done it, so it was always going to be a bit hectic trying to get it done in that.
Depends what you're looking for. If you want to be ones where people can actually watch it on the telly that didn't have Netflix or Disney or Prime or that, then it just has to be ones that are on both for easiness for some of us, because obviously no others have got live TV. That would then be an issue, if you know what I mean, because then not everyone is going to have all the...
I know, as I'm saying, it is obviously difficult because not everybody can just record it, like, and just kind of go back to it and that. But it's just like, I like the idea of it, but it will very rarely work, unfortunately.
Or it doesn't help as well. I think it was Daniel that he picked a film that wasn't actually getting shown until our streaming finished when we're going to be reviewing
it. Okay, shots fired there, Bunsey. 2 minutes in, we're shots fired. Well, let's jump in and talk about movies that we are watching for this week. So the winners, as we go back to our Instagram polls, was War Dogs and Zodiac. I think War Dogs would be a good place to start because that was the first one that I watched and it's the one I can least remember. This is loosely based on the true story of 2 young men, David and Ephraim, who won a $300 million contract from the Pentagon to arm America's allies. They're alloys. Jesus Christ. They're out there arming cars in Afghanistan. Everybody's kicking around with big massive rims.
Could have definitely named this from The Rim Job if that was the case.
War Dogs, The Rim Job. Oh, guys, it's been a long day. It's been a long day for me. Well, I'm not going to kick us off with talking about the movies because I'm already spouting shit. But we'll come to Sean first to find out his thoughts and feelings around War Dogs.
It's a second time viewing for me. I went to the pictures to see this, which means nothing. I just I know I always say that for films that I went to the pictures to see. But
what pictures was it?
Cineworld.
Step through you off here. In you go.
Why did you ask that? Do you want to know what I ordered when I was there as well?
Well, that was my next question, but you never answered my first one properly enough. So,
what do you mean?
Whenever Sean says about going, he always says he goes to the pictures instead of the cinema. I always say the cinema. I don't know if anybody else says.
When he said pictures, it made me think of the old ABC in Falkirk.
Aye.
No, well, I just call it it's always been pictures to me. I think cinema's quite posh.
I'm on Sean's side. Pictures for me.
And I would never say, "Oh, do you want to go to the cinema?" I'd feel like I don't know.
Quite Tory.
It's very posh and upper class.
We're a Tory if you call it a cinema.
That's me and Kev.
Do I go to the cinema? Well, no. We'll go to the pictures. Anyway, so I enjoyed this. I think it was a very, very easy watch. It's quite an interesting story. I consider like I remember the first time I seen it, like I never knew that it was based on true events. And I read up a wee bit like after it this time, and it's just a bit bonkers that just two fucking idiots can get that deep into something like this. I absolutely hate. Fuck, his name's totally escaped me.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I hate Jonah Hill in this though. I just think he's dreadful. I think there's no need to make the character. Obviously, I don't know what the real Ephraim was like, but I just feel like it was like again, and I always go back to the Superbad thing, but I just felt like I was watching Superbad sometimes when he was on the screen. Just that stupid like laugh that he done after every kind of week. We've never done it all the time, but you know the laugh I'm talking about. I just refuse to believe that there's anybody that's like that in real life. I didn't really feel the need for him to have him portray this character like that, unless he was actually like that and he done a wee stupid laugh after everything he said. No problem with the character being like somebody that would just stab anybody in the back to get. Obviously, there was the thing where he said that his uncle stabbed him in the back at the start. Obviously, he's stabbed his uncle in the back and then went to do it to his best pal. But I just didn't like him at all. Was he wearing fake tan?
Aye, I think his tan was one of the first things that they spoke about at the funeral as well.
It's just like I don't know. He just look. I just really don't like him in it. And the whole look for me, it also looks nothing like the real life Ephraim. I don't know if you've seen him, but he just like that real life Ephraim was a bit kind of on the chubby side and that, but he wasn't orange like that. I don't know why they made him orange.
I was literally just taking a screen grab of that and sticking it in the chat so you can actually see the comparison of them. So have a quick nose at your phones and you'll see what the difference. But yeah, that's totally thrown me seeing how different they are because. And I'm going to step on Hunter's trivia straight away. Jonah Hill put on something like 40 odd pounds to play this role. Like
why?
Why?
Yeah,
pointless. That's what I thought as well, because I can remember when this was just before it came out, he was all over because this. He was all over the papers just after this. This was after Wolf of Wall Street, wasn't it?
Maybe just. It must have been close.
So like he was in when I say papers, it was in the fucking Daily Record and that. He wasn't in the Daily Record, but he was in like the media and all that, and like about how much weight he'd put on, and then this film came out. Like there is no purpose to him putting on this weight. It adds nothing to the role at all. It's just weird, and I just didn't like the way that he played the character. It really wasn't for me. I don't know. It kind of takes the shine off this film a wee bit for me. But that aside, I thought I'm terrible with names.
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller. I thought he was really good in it. And how stunning is his wife? Somebody say something. Didn't he just nod, guys?
Just guys, leave him hanging there, right? And we'll cut
That's
that.
what I was doing. I was going to say something, but no, just go leave.
Cut that.
Aye.
Hunter's already in a wee sugly peg at the moment with his, so let's not get him under any more trouble.
I know. I did cut Gray's hand on Skype here, so
you didn't have to tell anybody that.
But it is a film that I enjoyed, and I remember enjoying it the first time, so I was quite happy when it came back up. I don't really know what else to say, and I always struggle to speak when I enjoy films. I would rather hate it so I can absolutely shit on it. I mean, it's a bit of a crazy story, isn't it? Two guys getting contracts to supply the army with guns and that. I did like the bit when they went to Iraq and they had to be driver. But that was a bit like, I don't think that actually happened like that in real life, if I'm honest. But also that there was a picture floating around that I've seen online that's similar to the one that they took at the army base.
I I think when I read about this at the time when it came out, that was one of the bits that was somewhat true. I'm not saying they got shot at or anything, but I think they did a load of guns over the border and all that, which is quite mad.
But, like, just in like the way it happened, like with that specific driver who was just a fucking idiot, basically. I just kind of, again, I know that they need to kind of put a tint of Hollywood on it and stuff like that, so I'd imagine where that's comfy. But I always laugh as well, like when it comes to, like, we all know how the Americans love their army and they're right into it on that. And like, see the bit where like he's trying to put the petrol into the wee nozzle, but while they're driving and that. So he's trying to fill the car up as they're driving, and then like they're getting shot at, and then all of a sudden like the US Army come and then they play that fucking song over the top, and they're all like doing that rad sign out the window and all that, as if like this is cool as fuck, man. Let's go and kill some Iraqis and that. Like, I just always find it funny when they total glorify stuff like that. I just find it really sad, actually. But overall, yeah, it's a very enjoyable watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it, apart from just the wee kind of things with Jonah Hill and stuff like that. I thought he could have either been cast better, or Jonah Hill could have done a better job in portraying him. Again, I say this as if I've spent time with the real guy, which I haven't. So I don't know if he is actually like that. But I just found his character very irritating, which I know he's meant to be, but I found him irritating for the wrong reasons rather than the ones that I suppose they wanted you to find him irritating for. I also, just on the side note, I hate when you guys put me first because I just feel like I'm rambling. I want to bounce off you anybody, so we'll probably nip back in later on.
Well, I totally get what you mean with the whole how annoying Jonah Hill was, but I don't know the story behind what these two were like, but they've obviously pictured a good guy and a bad guy between the two of them, and that's how they've portrayed it. I just, watching this now and assuming it was just not like that at all. It was probably two boys that were in line with each other the whole way through what they were doing, because it's made Miles Teller's character look so naive the whole way through this, and really gullible.
Can I just nip in and say, like, see when he's met Bradley Cooper, when he's on the was it a poker table or whatever it was, and then later on in the film, he's asked him, like, it was obviously the last scene where he's obviously been booked in for a massage, but he just wanted to talk to him and that, and he asked Bradley Cooper, he said, like, was that a coincidence? And then he just said, well, what do you think? So that obviously suggests that it's been set up by Ephraim. Why would he set that up? Like, have I missed something there?
I don't think it was set up by Ephraim. I think Bradley Cooper's character was using these two to make loads of money. He knew they were both naive idiots, so he set up to.
How would he know who they were then?
So earlier on
in the grand scheme of things, they were relatively, like, not big time really. Like, this is obviously the biggest contract that they were trying to get.
Yeah, so earlier in the movie, Miles Teller, when they're at a club, Miles Teller says that he'd been speaking to this guy on the phone, and Jonah Hill says, "Oh, he's really big time," blah blah blah, and they have this little back and forth. So Miles Teller's character's already got a bit of a relationship with him from some other deal.
Right. There you go. Right. Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry, Kyle.
No, it's all right, Daniel. Just you keep shooting.
I like Sean. I quite like this. It felt a wee bit like, it's a bit like The Big Short, but with guns instead of stock prices in the mortgage market. Because it's sort of, it feels like it's trying to give you a wee peek behind the curtain with the narrator sort of telling you stuff about what it's actually like for the American government, how they actually buy their weapons, and how much it costs for one soldier to have just his normal kit and all this stuff. I'm not all that interested in that sort of stuff. I found it a wee bit boring. It kind of peaks when they have to cross the border and get into Iraq from Jordan. To me, that was the excitement and the bit of the thing that sort of drew me into it a little bit. And then it loses its way after that. And by the time they get caught by the FBI, I'm sort of like, oh, like, you put some guns in some different boxes. Like, I don't know, it felt like it fell a wee bit flat towards the end. I think they should have Hollywooded it up a wee bit and added in a wee bit extra spice to make it a bit more exciting as a movie. I'm not sure how accurate that is compared to what actually happened. The wee bit at the start was quite interesting because Miles Teller's characters massages people. I don't know, do you guys all know that I did massage at college?
No.
No.
So I did a year of massage at college when I was like 18. And then this could have been my future at one point, just turning up at old 50-odd-year-old men's doors, touching them, and then put their towel actually slips off.
And doing what they suggest that Miles Taylor's character's been doing to these old men to make his money.
You've got to be there to take the loads. That's the whole point, isn't it? Like you're the load boy. So like, massage.
Daniel's out there doing a bit nuru with his clients.
Well, we all need to make a living.
Listen, I'm not judging.
There's a standard price and there's the extra load price.
Charges by the load.
Oh, I was going to say something, but it was maybe going to be beyond a bit too much even for us, so I'll keep it. Sorry, I found that a wee bit funny that it's a weird angle for somebody to take, but I was like, oh, that's the angle I almost took at one point in my life. It's got a wee bit of Wolf of Wall Street vibes in it. I don't know if you've confirmed if this is either just after or just before Wolf of Wall Street, but
3 years after.
3 years after? Wow.
Yeah.
It feels like Jonah Hill sort of half trying to get a bit of that same character for Wolf of Wall Street back, but then half a bit comedy and a bit stupid. So I don't know. I think it was good, maybe not quite as good as Sean found it. It's very easy to watch, but not all that exciting. See all the stuff where Miles Teller lied to his wife. It doesn't go anywhere, and like. Oh, he's like, I've just hid this money. Why is he hiding money when she already knows that he's making loads of money? Just say, look, here's extra money. Like, it just felt a wee bit stupid that he was lying about random stuff. And then
it looked like such a small, significant amount of money in comparison to the lavish lifestyle they were living. But what confused me was, one, why she's took such a umbrage with this. Like, she knows he's into something dodgy. He's not making this for selling sheets. And they...
What she took, Kyle?
I can't remember what I said, to be fair.
A umbrage.
Did I say umbrage?
What's a umbrage?
I hadn't even clicked on.
I must have heard that somewhere.
Umbrage.
Somebody needs to Google what a umbrage is.
I'll Google that to make sure that it's actually a phrase. Whilst Burnsy tells us his thoughts on the movies.
All right. Just one movie, not movies.
Just this one.
Right, cool.
Any film you want.
Just go straight into The Hobbit, mate. That'd be ideal.
I thought it was. I think I'm probably in between where Daniel and Sean are. Is that I thought it was quite enjoyable. I disagree about Jonah Hill. I thought I quite liked him and his character. I think I've sort of found that in most of the films that we've watched, that he seems to be pretty good for me and what I've seen. It seemed quite believable for me to have him as the owner of the company from a casting point of view. And I didn't feel as if at any stage I was sort of losing my interest or struggling to understand what was going on, because it seemed, although there was a lot of ways that the film went, it wasn't ever getting too complicated or overbearing or that. I thought the trip to Baghdad is like, it seemed to me as if I've not read at all to see whether this is how true the film is or whatever, but it just seemed as if they were going over the top, which might be me imagining it, or whether it was just more the way the scenes were shot, that gave off that vibe for me. So I didn't really think that was that believable. If it did turn out to be what actually did happen with them going down to meet them and obviously getting driven there, etc., then it's maybe just the way the scenes are done, which sort of ruined it a bit for me. The other thing I thought is that where Bradley Cooper's character, I didn't think he was believable at all. Like the way when he kidnaps Miles Teller's character and he's got him at gunpoint and all that kind of stuff, I didn't once feel scared for him. And that wasn't because I had an idea how the film was going, because this was the first time I'd watched it. But he just didn't come across as that kind of person that would actually hurt him physically. Like, he beat him up a wee bit. But I didn't ever feel at one point it was going to progress any further, and he was just going to always let him go. So again, it was sort of, I don't know if it was because of who the character was, or whether it was just the way it was illustrated in the film.
I agree. Definitely agree. Like, I think Bradley Cooper sort of, this is a lazy performance from him. Like, it just seemed like he couldn't be arsed delivering these lines, and you could tell
Could be anybody in that role.
Could be anybody, absolutely anybody. It's almost like you could tell he shot his lines in a day. Like, he's probably done all that. He's working that movie in a couple of days max, and could be anybody.
He's probably just done it because it's the boy for The Hangover that directs it, isn't it?
Aye.
So it's probably just that link. They've probably just phoned up, do you want a wee side piece? It'll take you. They probably could have done all that in a day. I thought it was fine. Like, I've no issues with it, but you probably could have done all his scenes in one day. Got paid a handsome sum for it, and then off you go.
I struggle when I'm watching it to figure out whether it's actually the way the film's been written, or whether it's actually the actors or actresses doing it. Though but I just didn't think it was like, there was obviously a good point having them in the film, but it was like, if you're going to kidnap somebody, don't make it feel as if I'm watching it thinking, oh, this is going to last for 10 minutes and then he's going to be let go and he's going to be able to go home and whatever. That was a bit silly. And as Daniel pointed out as well, the bit about Miles Teller's wife is he's lied to her throughout the film, and then obviously it's just like, oh, we know you've lied to the full time, but everyone's fine. Just get back together. What was the point in that? That was stupid. Because he was just
took umbrage with him, eh?
Aye.
Yes.
He was just a compulsive liar, and it gives off that vibe that you can just lie about everything and it'll be fine. Which maybe that is again what happened in it. I don't really know. I've not read after the film to see how much truth is in it, because I thought I'd see what Hunter found out from his trivia and he could fill me in with all that kind of stuff. I was going to ask as well, what do you think as well? Do you think David takes the money in terms of not shopping? So it leaves it open-ended. I think obviously that he does take the money for Bradley Cooper's character at all. I think he does too, but it was good. There was just like a few points that brings it down a little bit, and as Daniel pointed out as well, it was to me it was as if it was trying to give off the same impression of Wolf of Wall Street, and it's not on the same level for me as that. It's definitely quite a bit below that, but I did score Wolf of Wall Street a 5, so it's not that I'm going to score this one massively low. It's just that I wasn't blown away with this by any means, but it was enjoyable.
See the scene where they've got like the bunch of employees in the room, and he's telling them how much money he can make them and all that, and then he sacks the boy in the spot for asking what it stands for. That is a scene that you could have just put in Wolf of Wall Street. I feel like Jonah Hill said, like, I think he's just basically taken that from Wolf of Wall Street and put it in this film. It's felt like, I don't know, just that bit really did scream Wolf of Wall Street to me. I know what you're saying.
It's like a standard trick in any kind of sales environment, though. I'm watching that Suits on Netflix at the moment, and that happens in one of the first episodes. That they bring somebody in, like, just randomly sack somebody to show their power. Fuck off. Hunter, what did you think?
Kind of similar to what's been said so far. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I still enjoyed it. I mean, I did enjoy sort of some of the sort of cinematography throughout it. I mean, I liked it when everything's riding high and they're best pals. I mean, fair enough, they're getting shot at from the Iraqi army as they're going through, but everything's all bright colours. I mean, they're all jovial, which Sean touched on when the fighter jets come flying over and come save the day. And then obviously it kind of, as the film progresses, when they're meant to be Albania, but shot caller a little bit of trivia, it was filmed in Romania, but when they're there, it's all dark, it's all gloomy, it's all like, that's when things have taken a turn for the bad. And that was kind of, I mean, it was kind of basic film directing, kind of look at that when things are good, make bright colours, and when things are shite, turn them dark. But it's still kind of good to actually see it put into practice and being able to acknowledge that. Similar to Sean, Jonah Hill fucking give it, he done me something awful in this. And I'm thinking back, I don't know, is it him? Is it him that gave it so mate, or is it just the role itself? And I don't know if I've seen a couple of names that were suggested for, that doesn't say who they were suggested for, but I can have a couple of names that were touted for the film, and I think it would have been a completely and then better cast if these two names, or maybe, but again, that's maybe harsh on being on Miles Teller because again he was good. So again, I've obviously not seen the new Top Gun yet, but Miles Teller seems to me is one of the goes under the radar. I don't think I've seen many films that he's been in where I've not been impressed by what he's done. Obviously, Whiplash is a Moron's favourite, and I think I've seen it. What's the boxing one he's in as well? Bleed for This. He's good in that as well. So everything he's been in, I've enjoyed that I've watched of his. So kind of similar to what's been said, it's not a bad film. It's just there is a lot more that could be done to be better, to make it a better film. And I think I'll kind of touch on some of my trivia in it anyway. So one of the main things that they touched on in that is the actual true story behind it is 99% of what they've done was sat behind the computer. I think that one trip to Baghdad was about as riotous as it got for them. Everything else was done sitting behind a computer and a phone.
So Todd Phillips has tried to incorporate The Hangover into this story that he's been put in front of him, and then Jonah Hill's trying to treat it like it's a Wolf of Wall Street, whereas Miles Teller's actually trying to act out his role.
Yes.
So it's a little mishmash of all this shit. Carry on with your trivia, Hunter.
I'm just going to put it up now. So the two names, as I said, it doesn't say what roles they were in discussions for or who they've been offered to, but it was Jesse Eisenberg and Shia LaBeouf were the two other ones that were in talks for roles in this.
That'd be interesting. Shia LaBeouf who fucking stinks.
Imagine him in that desert no washing for a month.
I think there's lots of parts that could go to either Jesse Eisenberg, Shia LaBeouf, or Miles Teller. Like, I think you could switch the three of those about in quite a lot of films. I'd imagine they audition for quite a lot of the same shit.
Just got that same look and feel about them.
Shia LaBeouf and Miles Teller look quite similar.
Aye.
Yeah.
They're both quite, I don't know, they play kind of edgy characters usually in these weird independent movies. Anyway, carry on.
So also, the real David Packhouse appears in the film. He's actually singing "Don't Fear the Reaper" in the retirement home when Miles is in there trying to sell the sheets.
That was quite fun. That bit was quite fun.
And the real Ephraim Davoli declined to meet with Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill said, "I'm used to it. If a person is aggressively against me playing them, it's probably a good sign. It's no, you're a cunt."
Jonah Hill is a cunt. We can't have that because, ironically, one of the episodes of what we've had so far was Bradley Cooper is a cunt.
I know. I was going to say he was still cunty, but not as much as Silver Linings Playbook.
Well, don't shit on that. Burnsy gave that a 5.
Exactly.
Gave Silver Linings Playbook a 5, and what did Alien get? A 0.5.
Something like that, aye.
Oh.
The internet is still not forgiving you for that, Burnsy. Hunter, is there any more trivia you want to jump into? And I think we should maybe wrap up some scores for this.
Not on that. Again, no other thing, which is the fact that the 99% of what they've done was actually sitting behind the safety of a desk in some fancy office in Miami. Nowhere near as dangerous as Todd Phillips had made out to be.
No. The thing is, like, it's a light-hearted. It is as much as there's quite an interesting storyline behind it, especially with the way that the military go about buying their guns and stuff, and how easy it was for them to exploit it to make loads and loads of money. Maybe it was decent. It wasn't great. It was an enjoyable watch. It's the type of movie you could watch while doing something else. You don't have to give it too much attention, unlike the next movie where you need to pay attention. But let's get to some scoring for War Dogs. Burnsy, do you want to come first with your score? You did his winging it off the cuff here. He's not even thought about this.
No, well, now I've said I'm between Daniel and Sean, I'm just going to give a score and both of them are going to score it massively different.
I know, I'm going to do it on purpose now.
But I'm going to give it a 3.5.
3.5. What we'll do is we'll split up. We'll go to Hunter for his score.
Oh, your bum's just sweating. I'm going to go for a 3 for me.
3 for you. Then we'll come to Daniel for his.
I think Bonzi might be right. I'm a 2.75.
2.75. I'm going to go slightly lower than Daniel. I just think it's a good average movie. Nothing exciting. Nothing terrible. I'll give it a 2.5. Now, Sean, we've got 2.75 and we've got 3.5 for Burnsy. Where are you going to sit?
I was always going to go 3.75.
3.75.
Aye.
Oh,
So
it's the man who's never planned a score before in all 40 episodes that we've done.
When I say I was always going to, like, that was as of like 45 seconds ago.
After I get my score.
Aye, like I wasn't going to change it based on Burnsy, so like it worked out quite well for him there.
Well, Mr. Accountant, what does that do to the score?
Overall, that's a 3.1.
3.1. Let's go. Have a quick stab at what movies we've got at 3.1, guys. Don't have the options.
No idea.
I can't even think, man. Honestly, I can't even tell you what we watched last. Never mind going back to. I'll go for. I honestly don't know.
Focus.
Focus, first guess right. So whoever can get the guess right gets to go last in this next movie.
What are we guessing here? What's also the same score?
Also is a 3.1. Play the game, Sean.
What's the name of that film we watched where it was the fucking Con Air?
Any other guesses?
In Bruges. I think I gave that a 3.25 or something.
Well, the movies that are on exactly a 3.1 are Boiling Point, Gone Baby Gone, The Strangers, and Con Air.
Oh! What a shout.
Sean was writing that on the MDB there.
Sean's furiously scrolling through the Instagram to find a movie that says 3.1 because he's desperate not to go first.
My fingers aren't that fast, guys.
Oh, poor buddy. Okay, guys. So before we jump on to the next one, I did put it out on Twitter last week and I forgot to bring it up when we did our last recording. I just asked if anybody had any questions that they'd like the morons to discuss whilst we're on. And we got one question in that says, "Hey guys, I would just like to know where the handsome guy who was on last November for a one-off has went. He was both insightful and funny, and keep up the good work, guys."
So, Chris,
that was from a Dave Scott, 1990. Would we be including the Giant to come back in the near future? It sounds like he's actually missing us, guys.
As long as we'd have to watch one of his films.
That's the main criteria, as long as he doesn't pick the film.
So the rule has been every time we've had someone on, they get to pick their own movies, apart from Dave.
Aye, he's had his one shot, and he disappointed, so he's not getting another one.
No.
Well, I put out for questions as well, so I've got a couple of questions came in on Instagram as well. First one came from someone who always sends us a question, which is our good pal J Mick, who said, in light of us doing Zodiac, which unsolved mystery or conspiracy theory from history would you like to be able to know the entire truth about if you could choose?
Oh, you're a fucker.
Oh.
I thought Sean might like this one.
Unsolved mystery.
It's got to be 9/11. I want to know if jet fuel melts steel beams.
I mean, I think they can test that now.
Oh, this is a thinker. I'm going to need to think.
I'd quite like to know who Jack the Ripper was.
Aye, that would be my thought. That was in my thoughts too.
I'd like to know if the Queen killed Diana or not.
Oh, that's a belter.
That's
obviously so true.
Because she absolutely, the Queen opened up the bonnet and was right in there amongst the brakes herself.
I'm just imagining wee Liz underneath the car. Snap was cutting the brakes.
Like something like a James Bond film, but hanging off the back of the car.
Because she didn't want to get a hand started, so she was directing somebody to actually cut them for her.
Oh, sorry, it was Prince Philip under the car.
But I'm all for the conspiracy that there's loads of things that I've read about this in the past, like, you know, the randomly there'll be like an old MI6 agent that pops up and says like she was going to expose the royal family for being lizards or fucking molesting kids, so they killed her in a tunnel in France.
I mean, the royal family have exposed themselves for molesting kids recently, so.
Aye, just like it came out anyway, and nothing really happened. They just gave some folks some money. So, like, I don't think they would kill anyone and feel that. Nothing happens anyway.
One of the things that's just come to my head now is I would like to know the name of every single person that was involved in the Epstein stuff.
Yes.
Like, that would be a good one.
Would Sean, if you were to pick a famous director that may have may not been there, who would it be?
Well, I'm not going to get into that now, but like I just would love there would be so many that you don't expect. Like, I mean, imagine like you have the usual list like Donald Trump. Like, there's obviously you can kind of you see the names getting bandied about. Oh, Trump will be on it. Fucking what's his name for the past will be on it. The old president,
Clinton.
Aye, Clinton and that. But like,
wait. What's his name for the past?
no, like the past president is what I meant to say. But like, I've also seen ones where they say that fucking Tom Hanks was on it and that. Like, just write random names that you just wouldn't expect.
The internet conspiracy theory community don't like Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks comes up in a lot of stuff.
I know. I've been saying a few things about him too. Like, it's just quite strange. But you see, when you read that one sentence, you're like, that's kind of believable. But then the common sense kicks in. You're like, no, that's
they're very good at hooking you in. Like,
when I just a quick Google of like Epstein and who was involved in it, says there who flew on Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express plane. And it's
Ellen DeGeneres is another one that's been hounded, and then she quit that talk show thing that she'd done. She seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth now. Everybody thinks that she's involved in it and all that. She's a funny looking person though. Like, she looks like quite like just she's had that much work done to her face. She actually looks
like a fucking Furby.
Aye, she's really weird looking. She's also annoying as fuck. I hope she is on the list.
Well, she's not on the list that I've got in front of me, but some names on the list you've got Prince Andrew, shock.
That's a good one.
Trump, Clinton, Bill Gates.
Yeah. I'm not into the Bill Gates one. Bill Gates has probably got his own island somewhere. Like, let's be honest here. He's fucking he's too big time to visit somebody else's island. He'll have his own wee fucking deranged paedophile ring island when they go.
That's only for the really elite, is it?
Aye, Richard Branson, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Jeffrey Epstein with a wee pedo island.
Well, the other two names on the list there were Kevin Spacey, who's one of the biggest beasts in Hollywood, and Chris Tucker.
No,
that's pure what? That's random as fuck.
Chris Tucker's on the list.
Chris Tucker.
Did something explain his absence from like major films after a while?
I can remember I was trying to think films that he was involved in. There was so little to choose from, and it just like stopped.
Wow,
maybe it does make sense.
Well, Burnsy was a big fan of him in Silver Linings Playbook, so there's maybe more to that message.
Just a wee side question: what is the most ridiculous conspiracy theory you think you've heard? I've got one for is Paul McCartney dead, and well, he was killed, and then they replaced him in the Beatles with a lookalike. If you read up that one, it's ridiculous.
I have like the whole thing is on the Abbey Road album cover with the fact that John Lennon, Jesus, and all that came on.
Aye.
Jesus, there's a big conspiracy thing that's not real.
Yeah.
No, I think the guy Jesus was really just couldn't turn like water into wine. I think there was a guy called Jesus kicking about who just couldn't do any of the things that your partner could do.
Whose mob was a slag.
No, that's just the story they told. It's the same as like the modern. It's like, oh, the stork brought you. They just told their wee boy, oh, God did it. Me and your dad have never had sex. And then he's just went and told all his pals that when he grew up. He was like, no, they weren't lying. It's true.
But it's not even just his pals. The power of persuasion has been passed on through fucking millions and billions of folk over years that they actually buy into it.
It's funny.
Imagine it was all real too. Like, imagine somehow we found out it was all real. Imagine, like, just there was actually an actual guy, son of God, and his mum was a virgin.
Who died from
the biggest cult
a hangover.
And we all die, and then we go, and there's a wee guy with a with a pitchfork and a spiky tail and horns. Say,
know.
you should have believed, guys.
Mind you, when you're at
yourself.
primary school and you were like forced to go to church and sit and sing songs and all that and fucking roll legs down hills and everything and all part of this big mad cult.
I loved it.
Fuck that, man. Walking to a school to sit in the flare, the old churches, sit in the flare and sing songs about an imaginary guy. Fuck off.
Well, there's one more that I saw in it. I forgot to tell you that I went to see Elvis a few weeks ago at the Pictures or cinema.
What?
I went to see Elvis.
Cheers for the invite.
No, it was when Harvey was up. Me, Harvey and Dubs went on a Friday.
Secret cinema trips.
Aye. But no, one of the conspiracy theories I saw was like people still believe that Elvis is alive too.
Oh, it's the same way like Tupac and that.
Aye.
There's a lot of them.
Just because somebody's like famous and then dying pretty young, or they must still be alive. So
see if you go on like YouTube and put in like Elvis or Tupac or just insert famous celebrity here.
Aye.
Like, and there's loads of videos like Tupac spotted in Syria, and there's a picture of a black guy with a bandana sitting at a cafe in Syria. Elvis alive in Peru. Oh, it is now.
He lives in the Amazon.
Right.
And you've got to think all these dead celebrities are definitely staying on Epstein's Island or somewhere that nobody's actually seen them.
And they take these pills that you can just live forever on or something. That'll be the next conspiracy theory. But no, it was definitely a good film. I'd recommend going to see it.
Even though he's definitely dead. I was going to say that one that I like is that Stevie Wonder's not blind.
That would be incredible, eh?
Well, there's funny videos of him, like a microphone stand falls in front of him and he just sticks his hand out and catches it, as if, and then like no one notices. It's funny. So I quite like to think that it's been one big long work and he's actually can see. But celebrities tell stories that like he stole somebody's car and moved it and all this sort of stuff, even though he's blind. Stevie Wonder can see. That's my one.
Do you know what? Just on the subject of blindness, right? I seen a video on Twitter no long ago, and it was a lassie who was blind, right? And basically, I think it was a video on Twitter that like she had done on TikTok or something, because like there was comments. And basically, one of the questions was, "Can you describe like how like what it's like to be blind?" And she said like for her personally, like she's never been able to see. So like she says, because everybody's like, "Oh, is it just darkness and all that?" And she's like, "No." She goes, "Just imagine trying to be able to see out of like a part of your body that you cannot see out of. It's impossible to imagine it." So like that's how she is, like through her eyes. Like she just there's nothing there, but she can't describe it. So like imagine trying to see out your elbow, you can't. That's how she is. That totally fucking blew my mind. That's unbelievable.
To see out your elbow.
It's just an example, obviously, but like she's never been able to see anything. So like, it's hard. It's hard for me to comprehend that. Mental.
I feel like you've been thinking about this a lot, Sean. Like I can just imagine.
I've mentioned it to like Dave and that before as well. A couple of folk have mentioned it too. Nobody's really kind of gave me a reaction or what to talk about it or that.
I'm just imagining you sitting, looking out the window with the rain hitting it, going, "Look, imagine trying to see out your elbows. You just can't."
But that's it. Like, you can't. So like, that's how blind people are. Like it's impossible to actually comprehend that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, let's go and discuss the next movie on the list. Then we can maybe comprehend what happened in this one. The next movie is Zodiac, a movie that is only 10 minutes shorter than The Hobbit, guys. So when you complain about the length of The Hobbit next week, I hope to hear that from you just now. Between 1968 and 1983, a San Francisco cartoonist becomes an amateur detective obsessed with tracking down the Zodiac killer, an unidentified individual who terrorizes Northern California with a killing spree. Starring your favourite actor, Sean, but we won't come to you first because you did win the last competition. We're going to come to Burnsy first.
Aye, so with this one I'm a bit torn on it, is that I think at the start it was quite interesting. When they're quite good at setting the scene, and also when you see the sort of various cons at the start, then my interest was triggered to see how it progressed and how they were going to try and uncover the person that's going about like that. And I think interactions between Avery and Graysmith, they were well scripted, and how obviously at the start Graysmith's just sort of just like flung to the side, and then eventually starts getting closer to Avery, and he obviously opens up to him, and there sort of looks as if at points they're obviously working together to try and solve the case with Avery taking the lead. But once Avery leaves his job and obviously goes off the rails, it felt to me that I just sort of started getting lost. I started losing my interest at that point, because it felt to me as if it was more just wanting to show that Jake Gyllenhaal was this person who could solve anything. It was as if he just wanted like the character to get a massive pat on the back. And I've not read about how much is true or how much wasn't about it. So it could be that maybe he was this massively bright person, and he went about and obviously was able to put so many pieces together and concentrate his full life in it. But I just thought it sort of went massively downhill at that stage. It just felt as if the film was just all about portraying how amazing this guy is, without really any thought of. I seem to even lose the point in the film in terms of catching the Zodiac to an extent. Although that's what he's obviously, all the scenes are him concentrating on it. But it was as if he just wanted to. It was to show off how brainy this guy was, who was like a cartoon actor, a cartoon artist. I can't say artist for some reason. I've only finished it today, so I think my mind's still sort of undecided on whether I did enjoy it or whether I didn't even like it. And I think as well that obviously it's based on a true story, so there's only so many different ways they could go about it, and I don't know whether a lot of it is real life or whether a lot of it is exaggerated or under exaggerated. But it just didn't really hit the spot for me at all. I thought I was going to enjoy it a lot more, to be honest, because it's something that we have had up for votes a lot, I think, for what I remember. And I think I may have voted it for a few times as well myself. And also it did seem to, I don't know how long was, do you know how long the previous film was, Kyle, compared to Zodiac? Do you know how long War Dogs was?
You keep blabbering on and I will find out for you.
This definitely felt as if it was dragging on for me. Like I had to end up stopping this with. There was only about 40 minutes to go, but I could just feel myself switching off and losing interest. And at points as well, I think there was also times where they were saying people's names, and I was having to think, who is this person? And I think it was obviously because the mention how there was like 2,500 suspects at the start, and obviously narrow it down and down and down and further. But there was times where I was losing who was who. Not of the obviously Graysmith's character, you knew who that was and knew who Avery was and all that kind of thing. But at points I was kind of thinking, I'm not even that fussed who the Zodiac actually is, because it felt as if it was all just about a show off for Jake Gyllenhaal's character for me, which sort of ruined it as the film went further and further deeper.
Well, there is only 34 minutes of difference between the two movies.
So I think it was about 40 minutes to go. I had to turn it off and rewatch, like start again and watch the ending, because it was just too much for me.
Just struggled. It was too long. No, that's understandable, because there's loads of elements of the movie where it is slow. Like there is a slow, deliberate tension building in it. Like little scenes where the Zodiac killer's standing in the middle of the field, getting that young couple that are sunbathing or having a picnic with his big costume on with a big Zodiac on the front of it. I thought that was funny as anything, seeing the costume. I was like, why have we? I don't ever remember seeing that or seeing it anywhere else in the movie. But that, again, was a long scene just to tie them up. But that scene threw me crazily. But I just, in my mind, I was like, he's tying them up. They're helpless. He's just going to leave them there. They'll slowly die. And then he just starts knifing the shit out of them. Like, it seemed so needless. And what I thought was interesting with the Zodiac Killer was every kill seemed to be different, and they were looking for patterns in the way that he was doing it, but it seemed different. But you typically find for these movies where it's based on this killer. Like they're all desperate to get caught.
They're wanting attention because obviously, like that, but they're not people like that who are. If you're going to kill someone and you're trying to get away with it, you're not going to send obviously things like letters. Like if you're going to send a letter to say work this out and you'll find who I am, it's because you want attention. That's one I was just when you started talking, Kel, I thought that maybe for me is because obviously all the killings obviously were shown at the start of the film, because obviously that's the order of how it happened. I think maybe I might have enjoyed it more if they obviously showed the first killing and say they skipped into the future when they were sort of reviewing that killing as a police force or that, because you just went through all the killings, then you're like, right, we're investigating everything, and it was just constant investigation stuff. So I think to help with how you would have had a bit of a mixture throughout the film instead of it just being all killings, all investigations, because it just went on and on. It just felt really long-winded, which obviously investigation for that is going to be. But if you scripted it differently, then it wouldn't have felt as long-winded because you would be sort of coming back and forward, which you could have easily done because it wasn't as if when they were interviewing him, I don't really think they mentioned all the killings in one go. Like they're trying to piece everything together, obviously.
Aye. I agree with that. I think that would have been better because the last hour and 45 minutes it fucking drags on in this film. Like,
yeah.
The one bit I wanted to ask you guys, because I've probably missed something here. So the bit when they ask Arthur Lee Allen in his work to take his watch off while they have a look at it, and they deliberately zoom in the fact that it's a Zodiac watch and it's got the Zodiac symbol on it. What was the time scale between them doing that and actually working it out? Because they made reference to it. They purposely asked him to see it. There was a reason behind it. That's like, why would he have a Zodiac watch like that? Like there was
the Bruce Banner, what's his name?
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo's character earlier on, about an hour before that, because this film's so long you probably forgot. But he was trying to figure stuff out. He said the only place you see the word Zodiac and that symbol together is on this particular type of watch. So they already had that watch in their little profile of who they thought it might be, and then they spotted it at that interview like a year later. There you go.
Yeah, I just felt like that, to me, seemed like that would be a massive point that they could be focusing on, because they already had that guy who it turns out to be, but they had him. They'd already spoke to his family, like they had him in mind as a potential, potentially the Zodiac killer, and then it just seemed to like just disappear for ages.
I think
I just said it was handwriting was the problem. That was it. I mean,
the handwriting specialist talked him out of it, didn't he?
But then at that point as well, the investigation team, they were sort of still thinking it was him, and then they still just dropped it.
What I did think was quite frustrating watching this movie is we had an awful lot of time learning about handwriting. Like, I didn't really need to understand the difference between if he's ambidextrous or if he's not, and like what his letters would be like. And I feel like that took a lot of screen time, or it felt like it did anyway.
There was so much filler.
Well, Hunter, what did you think?
I've just thrown this out there. Obviously, I don't know if you know this or not, but the Zodiac killer has actually never been caught. It's still an unsolved case.
Yeah. It mentions that at the end in the...
Aye, so they did, I forgot they did that spiel at the end, aye.
What you call it, the end credits, basically.
Aye, I mean, the fact that we even still, I think I'd read something that still sort of try to decipher the code. I think some of the last bit, one of the hardest bit was only cracked like less than 2 years ago. So, but it's taken that long, and obviously, there's evidence that suggests that some people, and again, I kind of similar to what you have said, that a lot of it did drag on at times. I mean, I love my true crime stuff. I mean, there is aspects of this film that are good. The acting performances are good. I think Robert Downey Jr. is great in this. Jake Gyllenhaal didn't grate on me for once, so I thought kind of he was like, Mark Ruffalo was good. But again, similar to what you have said, there's so much going on and they try to cram it in, but then I feel like they take away from like the whole part kind of seeing Jake Gyllenhaal's sort of relationship breakdown doesn't really add anything to this film at all. I mean, you've got filler with that, as Dave touched on it. Yeah, they could have mentioned the handwriting a couple of times, But then there's also, I feel like there's probably so much from this story that they didn't even touch on throughout this as well. I mean, you could have had this set with more important events over a longer period of time rather than just focusing on what that maybe 1 or 2 years where he was more active, and you could have done so much more. But again, I think also the frustrating thing is there's no natural end point to the story because he's never been caught as well. I think that maybe adds to it as well. There's no point, at what point do you end it? As you said, you could keep going on. You could essentially still be writing a script for this now because he's still never been caught. Just come to your own conclusions. That's obviously what David Fincher's done here. I mean, obviously, when I was doing some of the trivia research, I said he was picked for us to do 7, and I think 7 is just so as a masterpiece compared to this. And I don't know. I think with what we've done another one of these films, and I can't remember what one it was that we've done recently, but it's like that somebody's peaking has been a gradual decline or drop off since then for me anyway. And I think for this, as I say, too much going on, whilst probably missing out so many more important aspects of the film. That saying, it is still good. I would still recommend it, but it's not going to be pulling up any trees for me.
No one you'll be jumping back to watch anytime soon.
No.
Sorry, because I've tried to watch this before, and I think I did watch it for like an hour and a half, and I just found myself sitting there being like, I actually didn't know what's happened. Like, I've got no idea, so I just turned it off. Because I was like, I'm not spending another hour and a bit watching something when I've actually no idea. I would need to go back and watch it again.
That's, see, like if they'd made like a series out of this, like a dramatised series, it would have been like because I think this is sort of set around the time. Obviously, I don't know if you watched Mindhunter that was on Netflix. It's kind of going on that criminal psychology. I mean, that's kind of going over similar time spans. But you give somebody 45-minute bursts of more important information rather because of this. You've got to sit and endure it for the time it's there. There's not even an actual break point within the story. You can come back, reassess what's happened, and go into the next part. I think that kind of adds to that as well. That it does feel like an ordeal come the second half of this film.
I wonder what animal Jake Gyllenhaal had been mirroring to prep for this role. A Sean favourite. Daniel, before we come to the Sean, let's find out your thoughts.
I'm kind of similar to you guys. It doesn't quite go to a conclusion. It's like mine when you were young, like maybe late teens, early 20s, and you go on like a big night out, and like you're having a good time with all your mates, but you go home alone at the end of the night, and you're steaming, and you're like to me, it's a bit unsatisfying. You've got home yourself, and then ultimately you have a long but unsuccessful wank, and nothing happens, and you go to sleep. Like,
is this what you do after the night out?
Just like,
he's got Ellen in time.
The movie feels like a long, unsuccessful wank. That's the way I could probably describe it. Like, it starts off quite enjoyable.
Daniel's on the massage table with his ex-clients getting their loads ready. A hard day massaging people.
It starts off really well. It's quite interesting. You see a lot of the murders, you see a lot of the investigation. You're like, this is going to be cool. But the fact that they never actually catch him in the last hour plus is sort of frantically getting to the conclusion of going, nah, it's probably this guy. It's probably the guy you thought it was an hour and a half ago. Like, because it's halfway through the movie. You have the interview where when you go, that's him. That's the only suspect you actually get to meet. That's a character. The rest of them are just names, like Rick Hamilton or whatever his name was. They kept going on about him. They were sure it was him.
Oh,
you never actually
because I was thinking I'd missed him being on screen. I was like, who is this guy? I've must have not seen him.
Oh, because he goes. When Jake Gyllenhaal goes into that guy's basement, and then like,
what was all that about?
Like that doesn't go anywhere.
No,
I know. It makes you think it was him. Oh, it was that guy. No, we don't know.
Because there was something that he said about. He said he's kept a tape here. He asked you to keep a tape, but then he said something that basically made me think, oh, that this is the Zodiac killer when he was just before they led him into the basement.
It was a handwriting, so they thought it was that Rick Hamilton that did the posters.
Oh, that was it.
This guy's name's wrong, by the way, but I think it was Rick Hamilton.
Something like that.
And then the guy said, no, it was actually me that made the posters. And it's like, dun, dun, dun. And then he goes to the basement and nothing happens. You never hear about it again.
But they make a reference to the basement because earlier on they mentioned that there's no basements in California, and that was a point of the Zodiac Killer. And then he was like, "Oh, he's got a basement," and the handwriting.
And he actually said it to him in the film as well. He goes, "There's not many people with basements in California," and that bit actually was really, really stupid. Sorry, Daniel.
That's annoyed me, that one though.
I'm glad you made that point. I'm glad you made the point because, like, ultimately it was the guy they interviewed halfway through is what they're leading you to believe. So that one didn't even go anywhere. He just went straight back onto something else after it. I think the end's just a bit of a clusterfuck. It doesn't go anywhere. The performances are good individually, like Robert Downey Jr. turning an alcoholic, having a bit of a breakdown. He's quite good at that. Jake Gyllenhaal's quite good at a guy who's obsessive and his life's unraveling. I forgot your guy's name again.
Mark
Ruffalo.
All three Marvel guys.
Yeah.
All three Marvel heroes, they're all decent. But I think Hunter mentioned about David Fincher, like the point to diminish the turns you get with him. I think now maybe 1 in 5 of his movies are good. And then the rest, everyone pretends they're good because it's David Fincher. A bit like Gone Girl. Gone Girl's absolute pish to me, but because it's Fincher, everyone goes like, "Oh, it was good."
Don't you use my Gone Girl? I enjoyed that.
I like Gone Girl as well.
I know it's just an example for me. I think the last movie I enjoyed of his was The Social Network.
Oh yeah,
that was
good. Have we reviewed that, or have I just watched that?
You just watched it. That was
that was one of the ones you were suggested to watch before officially being allowed to join Movie Club.
I'm just looking at David Fincher's upcoming movies. He's got a movie coming out. It's in post-production called The Killer.
Oh, another one of them trying to reclaim the 7 stills.
Another one for you where he does a 3-hour length movie and you didn't actually find out who the killer is at the end.
And and it's starring this has already irked me. It's Fassbender and Tilda Swinton are the two lead for it. So it's going to be Dead Archie as well.
Aye.
Yeah. So we'll not be watching that, guys.
I look forward to the 0.5. That'll be good.
Well, let's bring in Sean for the closing discussions on Zodiac.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Maybe by the sounds, I maybe enjoyed it a bit less than some of you, but I think Daniel and Bunzy and that have said as well, it started off quite promising. I thought, like, I'm going to like this, and then it just is about 2 hours of nothingness, really. I actually liked Jake Gyllenhaal in this. I thought he was pretty good. But just a mishmash of absolute shite. Like, there's a lot of names getting bandied about as well that you don't actually get to meet the characters. Like at the end where they were getting really close to figuring out who they thought it was, and he said he met her on this night, and I'm like, who the fuck are they talking about? Like, I didn't know who they were talking about half the time. There's just too many people involved in it, which I understand is realistic because I mean, these kind of things aren't as cut and dry as it's him. Okay, case closed. You know what I mean? Which is fine, but like, it just, I'm a simple guy. Let's not beat around the bush here. I like a simple story to follow. This just wasn't it. It was far too confusing, far too many names that you can't put faces to, and I just got completely lost in it. It is very brave to do a film like this, though, where there isn't really an ending, and to come up with an ending that's going to satisfy people is probably one of the hardest things that you could do in filmmaking. So, I suppose fair play to them for actually taking this on, but I just don't think it's been done really well at all. And like, as we kind of touched on there about the basement thing, just made zero sense. It was kind of building up that, all right, he's going to be it, he's going to be the guy, and he literally runs out the guy's house as he creeps up behind him to unlock the door, and then just is never mentioned again. Like, it's just really bizarre. I think after that he goes straight to Bruce Banner's house and wakes him up in the middle of the night. Is that right? Was that the next scene?
Yeah.
Like, you would think that would be one of the first things you mention. Oh, by the way, like, the handwriter is actually this guy. But again, just stupid. Also, the interview, the guy with the watch. Like, again, I was the same. Like, you'd heard them say about the Zodiac name and then the little symbol or whatever it was, and it's on the guy's watch. and it just doesn't go anywhere. And then, as the final scene is him walking into the shop, and then the guy who had the Zodiac watch, again I can't remember his name. Although this is the guy that they believe it was. Obviously, I can't remember his name, but he's just standing at the checkout. Can I help you? No, and they both just stare at each other, and it's like, oh, he knows who I am, and it just ends. It's just really, I don't know, just really underwhelming. But I did want to like this, like I thought I would as the film kind of started and that, but it just got worse and worse and worse for me. Like it was just a big letdown.
Fair. Olivia, feel like an unsuccessful wank.
I mean, it's not the analogy I would use. It's a good analogy, but I don't really think there's any such thing, if I'm honest.
Always successful, aren't you, Sean?
Sean's like the guy off Mastermind when it comes to wanking. He's like, I've started, so I'll finish. Like,
that's no, I don't do that kind of stuff.
good Catholic boy.
I was going to make
a quick
segue
segue from the masturbation chat that we're having at the moment. But Hunter, you mentioned Mindhunter as well. I didn't realise David Fincher directed 7 episodes of that as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Hunter, do you have any trivia you want to throw in about the Zodiac before we wrap up?
Yes. Sadly, I will not be revealing who the Zodiac killer is live on.
I thought this was the big reveal to.
Can you reveal which animal Jake Gyllenhaal was playing?
He was the Pumbaa from the Lion King.
As your minds went straight to Pumbaa.
That was it. I was thinking Meerkat, but then I thought, no, he was Olivia.
But you couldn't remember the name for Waterhogs. You just said a Pumbaa.
Aye. That was it. So I've got 2 names here that were firstly David Fincher wanted Brad Pitt for the role of Avery, but apparently the first choice was Daniel Craig.
No.
I've got something against Daniel Craig personally, I think. Every time he comes up in these things, I just think, no, that would be shite.
We've seen Knives Out,
I don't mind Daniel Craig. It's alright. And I'm not a James Bond fan. I've never watched a single minute of him and James Bond, but I just think Daniel Craig's alright. He was really hating for that.
He's the best Bond, like. He's definitely the best Bond.
Was he the best Bond? You're a total geek, mate.
Aye, I've never liked Bond, man. Like, being the best Bond's like, I don't know, being the healthiest jobby. Like,
Casino Royale was maybe the last one that I've seen.
I've never been into James Bond. I think like
James Bond should only be enjoyed on a Nintendo 64 playing GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Right, you wee rich kid.
The other thing, so obviously again we've touched on David Fincher was the only choice to direct this movie based on his work on Seven. Again, he'll be getting jobs till the end of his days based on that. The film's producers actually hired real-life private investigators to track down the survivor, Mike Magoo. I think that's the boy you kind of seen getting pulled in for the interview at the airport towards the end.
Did you recognise who he was?
I thought I did, aye.
He's Liam McPoyle from Always Sunny.
So it is, aye. I did, aye.
That's when they did
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Then I watched Always Sunny. What a lot of shit.
Friends is better.
Oh, Big Bang Theory is better. Right, next bit of trivia, Hunter.
Yes, so Jake Gyllenhaal was the first choice for his role as Graysmith. However, if he had turned it down, Fincher's second choice would have been Orlando Bloom. Can you just imagine this film with Daniel Craig and Orlando Bloom?
Give us 5 movies that Orlando Bloom's been in, please.
Pirates of the Caribbean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right, we'll take Pirates of the Caribbean as 1.
Things 1, 2, 3.
You only get 1 series or franchise.
No, you asked film. Come on now, be fair.
We've just named some of the most successful movies of all time. Lord of the Rings, all of them, 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, is that what you said? Sorry, I thought you were Pirates of the Caribbean again.
Does he appear in The Hobbit as well at some point?
Probably.
I'll go for the Calcium Kid.
What the fuck's
Yes.
Calcium Kid?
Good shout. Good shout.
I've never heard of that. Oh, Troy. I forgot about Troy.
Oh,
Yes. Good
Black
movie.
Hawk Down, Ned Kelly.
He's done plenty.
Not
Weirdest
one.
idiot.
Yeah, I just cannot remember him in any of these movies other than the big mainstream ones that you've said there. He is in The Hobbit in one of them.
Is he still married to Katy Perry? It is Katy Perry he's married to, isn't it? Or was married to.
She's engaged to Hunter, I believe, at the moment.
He's
He's
another
just a baby daddy, that's it.
She's one of Laura's personalities.
Saturday nights when Hunter comes in steaming, that's the personality he wants.
So that he doesn't have an unsuccessful wank.
Just get back to him coming in on a Saturday night steaming like, right, Laura,
You've
get the
got
cake.
the eye of the tiger.
She's got that, the blue wig, the blue bob wig.
Oh. Singing a Just Eat jingle.
As you wave a kebab about.
Do you guys know what Just Eat is called in Australia?
Oh, I've seen this, but I cannot remember because it's got a jingle as well.
When Snoop Dogg, obviously, was the original Just Eat advert guy, so he does it for Australia as well, obviously. But instead of going like Just Eat, it's menu log.
Wow.
And there's a video of Australians sitting like talking about how people in the UK call it Just Eat, and they're absolutely ripping the fucking piss out of us. It's weird as anything. Anyway, I'm just
Whilst Dave Hart was called Menu Log, and what a cheek to be slagging anyone.
I know, menu log, and it goes, menu log. He said it Just Eat.
I'm loving a wee singing Sean.
So stupid. Anyway, that's just a bit of useless information for you.
Just Eat sponsors. If we do have sponsorship slots available for Just Eat, if you would like to get involved.
I fucking basically sponsor Just Eat. Could never be named sponsoring us. Did we
get Snoop? Oh, on you go.
What? No, on you go.
I was going to say we might get Snoop Dogg to do our new jingle.
Maybe.
Fuck off! I spent time making that. Snoop Dogg can bolt.
If Snoop Dogg came in and goes, look, guys, I will come on board. But you need to sack Kyle. Let's be honest here.
Have you not seen that? Because Snoop Dogg streams like gaming and that. And he had a stream not long ago where he just got up and went out for the day and just left his stream on. It was only for like 18 hours. And he come back and there's still thousands of people sitting watching an empty chair.
I think I seen a video of him coming in and like realising it was still on. I've seen something like that.
We had thousands of people sitting watching, donating money and all that kind of stuff. And we get about 15 downloads a day of our podcast, and there's thousands just watching an empty chair, hoping Snoop Dogg comes back.
It's quite intriguing though, because you literally don't know when he's going to come back.
I'd imagine that 18-hour stream was more suspenseful than the last hour and a half of Zodiac.
I would have sat and watched every minute of it. Like, he obviously doesn't know it's still on. Imagine he came back with, like, I don't know, just a...
They had an unsuccessful wank.
Well, that wasn't really what I was going for, but okay, we'll go with that.
Steaming at the end of the night, not realising the camera's still rolling. Anyway, Hunter, let's save us. We've diverted back into masturbating chat. Any more trivia?
We've got one more final bit. The Zodiac's first confirmed attack, the murders on Lake Herman Road, was excluded from the film since there was no surviving victims to corroborate the details. The creators thus decided to open the film with the 4th of July murders, which were actually his second double murders.
Isn't the whole point of a murder that there's no survivors to tell the tale for all of them?
Exactly. So if they know who the victims are, why don't we just tell the story?
I'm sure there's a police report somewhere they could have just kind of loosely shot a scene around.
Exactly.
So they're having to speak to some poor bastard who's having to relive it again.
But you don't grab the audience's attention by some high school punk getting his hole on the 4th of July.
So, but I mean, just change the order of them or something, because 45 minutes at least of the movie is just looking at police reports. Like another extra police report wouldn't have made any difference. Fucking hell. Anyway.
Well, let's get round and give it some scores, guys. Burnsy, we're going to come to you first again.
Aye, so when we started talking about it, my score was higher than this, but it's dropped down. I'm giving it a 2.
2 for Mr. Bengal. Daniel?
I'm following suit, and I'm also a 2.
2. Hunter?
2.5 for me.
2.5. Sean?
1.75.
A 1.75. And I will follow suit with Sean. I thought I was going to be the only one going underneath 2 there. But a 1.75 for me as well. Let's put Burnsy under pressure here. Burnsy, have we got the scores?
Yeah, that's a 2.
Oh, nice and easy for you there, eh?
We're going to get some hate for this one. Another question we actually got sent in was, do you think the negative backlash we get on social media is justified? But we'll answer that next week after we get the backlash for Zodiac.
Well, I tell you what, if you can tell me what movie Zodiac is joined against on the leaderboard, the person can pick the movies for the week after.
Gone Girl.
Nope.
Do we get a guess each then, I take it? Just
Yeah, go for it.
guess each. Right, okay. What is that, a 2?
2 exactly.
I'm going to go for... Oh.
Make this snappy, guys.
It's hard. We've watched a lot of films.
Dead air.
Come on, stop. Right, somebody else jump in, quick.
It's not just me guessing. I'm waiting on another 2 guessing as well.
I'll go with Labyrinth.
That's a good shout. Oh, fuck. This is hard.
I'll go with Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast.
And I will go for... fucking hell. What's the name of that? Oh my god! Face Off? No! I swear on Laurie's life, I'm no. Is it Face Off? I mean Nick Cage and the other and Travolta. Is it Travolta?
That is the movie you're thinking of, but I can confirm that none of you's got it right because we don't have any movies that have got just a 2.
Well, that's bullshit.
Oh, fuck off.
That's utter bullshit.
Sean Cole.
I think the closest was Daniel with Labyrinth, which came in at a 1.95. And the Crow, JFK, 300, Us was all at 2.05. But no movies at 2, so that was a safe bet. So we can get a nice wheel spin going, guys. So Zodiac, number 2 for itself, comes at 114 on the leaderboard. So it was a second page for Zodiac, so there will be a little bit of backlash coming our way for that. Now, guys, where are we at with the movies for next week? I think there's somebody in here that's not pulled their weight around to start getting the shortlist sorted.
No, we've got the movies picked for next week, and we've
talking about
to do them for the week after.
So, to clarify the schedule, I've got the schedule all in my mind. The schedule is we've got The Hobbit and Jackie Brown for next week, right, to be reviewed. And then the vote going up on Instagram this week is Burnsy's choices, but I've given you 2 shortlists. You just need to give me 8 of each.
Aye, I need to look through them.
And that's fine. So that'll be a mixture of romance and horror for the next vote. And if you're spinning the wheel, this will be for 2 weeks' time.
Do you know, it's so funny. I totally forgot about next week's movies, and I've already watched one of them. It's a good sign for it to come. Well, let's get the wheel spin to see. So we're going to be well ahead of schedule, guys, with watching the movies. That is. Oh,
get versus to fuck. Get versus to versus is shite.
Right, versus.
I got it in Pascal's name. That was all.
We should just go with the one that was closest to then if we're taking verses out.
That was Daniel.
That would be Daniel then.
Spinning again. Spinning again, you bastards.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Guys, sports movies has been selected, so we're going for a Burnsy week to sports movies.
Essentially the same thing.
I look forward to watching Ali McCoy and Michael Keaton on screen, guys.
I think that's on YouTube. It's not even on streaming platforms.
Cracking movie. Well, guys, that does bring us to the end tonight. We did War Dogs, it came in at a 3.10, and Zodiac, which was a 2 on its own. Some interesting potential names for the podcast for this week, which we'll discuss in due time in the chat of what we're going to go ahead for. But thank you for your time tonight, guys. Enjoy the nearly 3 hours long of Hobbit for the upcoming week, and we'll just didn't bother with Jackie Brown. Just watch 2 Hobbit movies. It'll be a better experience for you.
No thanks.
Well, guys, that brings us to the end. So I bid you morons farewell.
Guten Tag.
That means hello.
I had Auf Wiedersehen in my head and then my mouth Guten Tag came out.
Listen, at least he gives a little bash at saying goodbye to people. He might fuck it up, but at least he gives a goodbye. These guys just wave or stare at the camera.
It's a bother.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun, you fucking moron.
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron.
Hey, moron!
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons.